Durag Wisdom, folks. Welcome to Y2K 17.11.03. Trump is not my president. Part 2. Never my president. Never, never, never. And here's a quote from, a paraphrase quote from 1984. Who controls the past controls the present, and who controls the future controls the present and the past. And that's from 1984. Yes, Trump supporters get offended when I tell them that Trump is not my president. I understand where they are coming from. Am I trying to overturn my Constitution in favor of anarchy? Do I plan illegal traitorous uprisings against my government? How dare I disrespect the quote-unquote president? Quote-unquote? Sorry, Trump supporters. Really. Lo siento. That's Spanish for I'm sorry. I assure you that I will never try to overthrow my government unless it is given over in total to Putin, which it's on its way to becoming. But I can never, ever call that creep you support my president. Below is a list of some of the reasons why. In the end, you must put up with me as I have to put up with you. I know for a fact that most, if not all, Trumpists and teabaggers despise President Obama and wanted to see him fail. Do you remember what that cracker bitch McDumbbell said? That he was going to make Obama a one-term president? And this racist never tried and never wanted to work with our first black president. In fact, the teabaggers and Trumpists did all that they could to undermine the Obama agenda. And of course, this is to the detriment of our country, which they didn't care. They even built outhouses. They even built outhouses in honor of Obama, especially at Romney campaign events. I don't believe for a moment that these people ever called Obama president. They hated Obama's blackness so much they even denied his birth in the USA and even tried to say that he was a Muslim and not a Christian, which should not make a bit of difference in a free country. But apparently, the Jews have not broken the presidential wall yet. And if it is up to the moronic forces in our society, there will never be a president of color, let alone a president of color who is also Jewish, a woman, and a lesbian to boot. So please, Trumpists, please, religious extremists, you teabagger mother effers, don't try to tell me who to call president. I plan to treat Trump worse than how the GOP treated President Obama. After all, it is those people, you, the hateful Trump supporters, the scumbag GOP, the religious extremists who have given me the right to not call that traitorous slime Trump president of anything, including of a trash can. Right now, I will continue speaking directly to the Trumpists, but this is everybody's information. 1. I was viciously bullied growing up and suffer some PTSD because of this. Every time the creepin' opens his mouth, I have flashbacks back to the day. I face morons like him in the classroom and after school on the playground every day of growing up. I wish I could have been homeschooled. I will never call a goddess damn bully president of our country. 2, I understand the history of black people, and I understand the history of Mexican Indians and their mixed race generations. I understand the history of black people especially as it occurred in the New World and in this country now known as the United States of America. I will never forget seeing black people physically assaulted at Trump campaign rallies. I will never forget what this creep said about Mexicans. And I hope Trump gets tried and executed for his capital offenses against Puerto Ricans in the wake of Hurricane Maria, and for the murder of Heather Heyer in Charlottesville, and for his disrespect of LaDavid Johnson and his family simply because they are black, and because Trump's incompetent and racist leadership led to this hero's death at the hands of Islamic terrorists in the first place. Trump is a white supremacist who supports enslavement or death for the people of color on our planet. I will never, ever call a goddess damn racist president of our country. Trump is the founder of the fake news birther movement. Only the first 2 years of President Obama's presidency was without drama. But then the voters decided to put all GOP into our lives to consume the House and the Senate and digest them into waste. And there was always that fecal ball Trump in the background. In the background. A plague of biting flies on a hot day, mouthing his fake news birther shit. Until I wanted to stick my fist down his racist throat and pull out his rotting spine. And that was before he was shitted into our Oval Office. Almost called him president there, didn't I? I smacked myself first. One of Trump's goals and Putin's in this occupation of our country is to undo everything President Obama did. And for Trump, accomplishing this goal has another very racist and important resonance for him. The mainstream media pundits may not be allowed to say it, but I know that Trump loves undoing the legacy of our previous bona fide president simply because he is a black man, you motherfuckers! Again, I will never, ever call a goddess damn racist president of our country. 4. 12 million human beings, half of which Jews, were exterminated by the Nazi death machine between the late 1930s until the end of the Second World War in 1945. Following the day that the Nazi KKK monster was flushed into our lives, I viewed a piece on MSNBC showing a group of alt-right scum making Hitler salutes and saying, "Hail Trump!" I couldn't believe that. But I wasn't going to delude myself, because if it could happen in Germany, it could happen anywhere. And I don't give a shit how many Jews this Nazi has working for him, because they are traitors to their people and mostly and more importantly to their country for working with him. Months later in August, the Trumputin birther racist would make a false comparison between the white supremacist extremist domestic terrorists who invaded Charlottesville and those people of conscience and who are true patriots who protested them by stating that there were, and this is what he said, were bad people on both sides. I will never, ever call a goddess damn Nazi president of our country. You're a Nazi, Trump. Try and sue me for accusing you of that, you cowardly, traitorous piece of turd. 5. I firmly believe Trump is a traitor who colluded with the Russians to get himself elected puppet dictator of our country. Putin has designs on the entire world. If you don't believe me, fact check me, watch the news, read the newspapers, read all the stuff that's been going on with the Mueller investigation, everything else. This guy is a traitorous creep. This Trumpin' creep is going to undermine and destroy our great country if we don't stop him. Trump is helping Putin with his designs on the entire world. I will never, ever call a goddess damn traitor president of our country. 6, Trump has always had contempt for our free press. Remember how he penned in the press before he made his announcement of candidacy? They had they were all penned in, all stuck in together. Remember how his press secretary mocks this vitally important right of our Constitution, stating that no one has a right to question a general? I'll question that scumbag anytime I want. And check out how that liar and hypocrite, general in quotes, Kelly tried to segregate the press by only answering questions from those who knew a Gold Star family. What kind of a shit thing was that? I will never call a goddess damn totalitarian oligarch, Trump, president of our country. 7, our unique and majestic planet is vital to me, and I object to what this creep in his cabinet and his cancerous party is trying to do to it. Before you know it, our planet will be polluted with us drowning in the rising dead oceans. Remember Soylent Green? But before that, our death agonies will be extended through our being poisoned by chemical companies and the like, because the Trump creep and his supporters got rid of regulations that protect us. Start calling Aaron Brockovich now. I will never, ever call a goddess damn planet polluter and people poisoner and animal abuser president of our country. 8, the creep fascist psychopath is playing nuclear football with North Korea. More of that later. I will never, ever call a nuclear nutjob president of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, the last election was rigged by the GOP through their use of gerrymandering, voter suppression, and Citizens United. Our last election was tainted by Russian enemy interference. The Trump creep has never put his businesses into a blind trust. The Trump creep is violating the emoluments clause of our Constitution. In fact, the Trump creep wants to burn our Constitution in its entirety. Only 50% of eligible voters participated in election 2016, which Keith Olbermann has called the most important election since our Civil War. And Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. I will never call a goddess damn traitor and a goddess damn psychopath president of our country. And boy, oh boy, folks, this isn't over. To be continued.